from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
The time has now moved on to 19 hours 1. Kevin Smith here with your news in your nightly newscast, rather. As Guyana continues its preparations for the oil sector, Chatham House Associate Fellow Dr. Valerie Marcel is of the firm view that focus should be on the oversight of oil companies. Dr. Marcel said that Guyana needs to outline the rules by which the operators are to work. She said these have to be laid out along with having pellucid policies to guide the sector's development. Dr. Marcel said that in light of the size of the discoveries, there is certainly a justification for establishing a regulatory agency for the petroleum sector. This was supposed to be in the form of a petroleum commission, but the legislation to bring it into being remains stuck in a parliamentary select committee. She went on to say that it is important that Guyana begins to build the regulatory capacity needed for the oversight of costs as well as capacity within the EPA. And in other news, ExxonMobil Corp has been suspended from the Climate Leadership Council following a secretly recorded video that showed one of the company's lobbyists detailing its strategies to delay climate action. Exxon was among the first corporate backers of the centrist group, known for its advocacy on a carbon fee and dividend proposal, but the stink tape released in June cast significant doubt on the company's support for carbon pricing. The suspension stems directly from the secret recording of Keith McCoy, a senior director for federal relations at Exxon. McCoy told a group of Greenpeace activists posing as headhunters that the company only supports carbon pricing because Congress lacks the political will to pass it. The tape raised suspicions that Exxon had been supporting groups like the Climate Leadership Council to greenwash its public image while it continues to produce more fossil fuels. And moving on, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Shalimar Alehak, has recommended an inquest into the death of father of three, Anthony Packamram of Providence East Bank, Demerara. On July 25th last at Old Road, Providence, Packamram was killed with the very knife which he had armed himself with while he and his reputed wife were arguing. According to a police report, the deceased had a history of being violent towards his reputed wife, with whom he had an 11-year relationship. On the day of the incident, around 15 hours 30, the man had returned to the woman's residence, where another altercation happened, which ended with his death. News had surfaced that the woman had stabbed Packamram once to the neck during the altercation, but in an exclusive interview with Kaieteur, the woman had claimed she believes that it could be a case that her abusive partner had fallen on his own knife after he had allegedly wrestled her to the floor. And moving on, 1 week after a Linden man was remanded to prison for allegedly raping a minor and another was placed on $200,000 bail for allegedly exposing his genitals, two more Lindeners appeared in court for similar charges. Both men appeared before Chief Magistrate Ann McLennan in the Georgetown Magistrates Courts via Zoom. 20-year-old Kieran Vandrigen was charged for sexual activity with a child under the age of 16, which allegedly occurred on April 28. He was placed on $150,000 bail and is expected to make his next court appearance on August 18th. The second defendant, 49-year-old Edward Reddock, was slapped with 2 counts of exposing his genitals, which occurred on June 18th and was also charged for 2 counts of assault. Reddock pleaded guilty to the 2 assault charges and was fined $15,000 each. However, he denied exposing his genitals and he was remanded to prison until August 18th. And moving on, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony says persons inoculated with the Sputnik V vaccine can now travel to most Caribbean territories. Following discussions on the matter, all Caribbean countries except for Trinidad and Tobago said persons traveling to their shores can enter once they have been fully immunized with a COVID-19 vaccine. Dr. Anthony made this disclosure during Friday's COVID-19 update. The World Health Organization has approved several vaccines to fight COVID, including AstraZeneca, Sinopharm, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, and Pfizer. And to wrap things up this evening, let's tell you that in keeping with the COVID-19 emergency measures published in the official Gazette on July 29th, GRA has advised that all taxpayers desirous of entering its offices must show proof of vaccination, hard copy vaccination card that is, and a valid form of identification, which are ID card, passport, and driver's license, with effect from Monday, August 9th, 2021. No electric or photocopies will be accepted. The Revenue Authority said it will only facilitate entry to unvaccinated taxpayers on prior appointment made via the switchboard operator on telephone numbers 227-6060 or 227-8222, extension 1502, 1506, or 1507, or through its online mailboxes. And that's the news of the moment. Remember to get the full details of these stories, pick up a copy of the Kaieteur News. And don't forget, you can catch us on